Hey Aaron,
How you doing, Rick? You right?
I'm okay. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Looking forward to analysing this game, to be honest.
Yes, you messaged me there saying that you played a game and things didn't go so well. So what happened?
Well, I felt like I had a decent open. Obviously, you'll be able to obviously tell me more. And I just felt like I was winning, I was doing well, I was building momentum, I was taking pieces. And then yeah, I just lost concentration. I felt that he rushed at me and lost the
Okay.
game really. So a bit unsettling, a bit
Yeah,
sad.
yeah,
But
yeah. I had a quick look. Indeed, this is one of these players that jumps at you with everything he has. Well, actually, not with everything he has, with a few pieces, and then that's sometimes tough to deal with. It's not pleasant. Nobody likes an opponent charging at your king. But yeah, it's all about, I guess, keeping a cool head and just calculating the variations. But let's have a look what happened. You open with the e pawn as you always do,
yeah,
e5, knight c3, knight, and then he comes with h5 straight away.
yeah.
Okay, that's okay. And you react normally. You just keep developing, and then
Yeah,
h4, and that really is not a good move.
no.
It's like a soldier trying to win the war for his army by himself by charging forward on his own. That's not going to happen. You need, as we always talk about, you need all the pieces to play. All the pieces want to be at the party.
Yeah.
Well, you know that. I guess you could have taken this pawn already. Yeah, just snap off a central pawn. But you play bishop c4. I'm always happy when you develop your pieces, so I won't criticize that move at all. He played c6. Suddenly he makes, well, that's not really a developing move. Um,
No.
don't know what he's doing with that move. Maybe he's preparing d5, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's also the natural square for the knight, c6. So c6 is not a great move. You castled, and then he plays g5. Suddenly he starts. The moment he sees your king on g1, he starts to become aggressive there again.
Yeah.
And as I said, no chess player enjoys this, seeing an opponent charge the king. It's always a bit uncomfortable.
Well, as I'm starting to understand now that emotion plays a huge part in this because here when we speak about these games, I'm so calm. I can see things clearly. With the clock under the pressure, it's something else to deal with as well.
Yeah, that's true. This was, by the way, a 10-minute game. By the way, I saw that you finished the game with 8 minutes left. So that's another thing, time management. And if somebody is charging it like this, it's not good. You just have to make sure you take some time to refute it. And by the way, you did that. You played really well.
Yeah,
You took
thank
you took that pawn, a central pawn that's worth more than another pawn. So, and you have now two attackers against the f7 square, which is always the weak square on the chessboard, as we talked about
you.
many times as well. So you have two attackers against that. So it all looks good. And he plays h3,
Okay.
and now you play a nice one. It's maybe not the best move objectively, but you played g3.
Yeah.
And that's really saying, okay, you're charging at me, but I'm not letting you in. Um,
Yeah. A year ago, I would have automatically taken H3.
yeah,
And then obviously it leaves my king quite vulnerable.
yeah,
But now I have the option. It just becomes second nature. Now, okay, there's A, but there's B. So to keep the position closed without opening anything of the files, that's
exactly.
what I choose to go with now. Yeah,
Yeah, and you did it really well. It's the h, and sometimes the pawns are in the way of the attacker. Did this maybe black would like to get rid of that pawn so that his rook is really attacking the king. But now
yeah,
his own pawn is in a way, and you cannot take your own pawn. So in a way, it's a little bit of security as well to have that pawn on h3 now. Apart from the fact that the g2 square is weak, and that's what cost you the game, but that was not necessary. Okay, g3, great move, great understanding. Um, keep the lines closed when somebody's charging at your king. Well done. He played f6. Yeah, why not weaken the position a bit more? His king is really unhappy there now.
yeah.
Um, I guess you could have played knight f7, just a nice little fork
Oh
on 2
yeah.
pieces, winning a full rook. Knight g6 is not bad either. He played rook
So
h. Yeah, go on.
uh, it's like now I'm playing the move. So it's like at level one, I wasn't thinking of these moves. Level two, I'm thinking of them, but I play them somewhat the wrong way. So how you said I could have gone the other way. So it's slowly clicking, but I went the other way instead. So we always find that now in some of my games where I'm on the right topic. I just need to get the correct. I'm on, you know what I mean? I need to get the correct route. I always take the other route now. So I'm happy I'm getting somewhat of the route now.
Yeah,
And hopefully I'll find the better route if that makes sense.
yeah, well, exactly. And okay, a knight g6 is not a bad move. I guess knight f7 is just a bit more forcing.
Oof.
You straight away win
Yeah.
a rook. But in this position, you're totally winning. You have played chess. Your opponent has not. You have 3 pieces into the game. You have castled your king already, and that's what you need to do in the opening. While black has all his pieces on the back rank, and he's only played with pawns.
Yeah.
So no surprise that knight f7 is already possible, and knight g6 is also fine. So there's only one player who has played chess here so far.
Yeah, thank you.
So knight g6 and rook h5. So he really he just puts the rook on a square that is not safe. And that's, I guess, maybe something that if somebody plays weird stuff, and this of course is a very weird game, you don't get the positions that you normally get because this guy is just doing all sorts of weird stuff. And then it's really important, is there anything in the position? You really have to scan the position for checks, captures, attacks.
Yeah, it's so funny because when the rook goes to h5 now, it's like now I'm going over with you, because you like, my mentor and like my friend, and you create this safe space for me to be able to mess up, but it's the learning curve, it's the failure, it's the feedback, and because of yourself, you allow me to be so relaxed that when I'm going over this with you, I see it straight away.
Mhm.
If you was in my corner in all the tournaments, I'd win them. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. You know,
Yeah,
obviously I wouldn't, but I would feel so calm. So I think when you're relaxed, I think the pathways in your mind, it just flows much better. Like I've seen that, and I think, oh, perfect, Rook, thank you, happy days. So you
yeah.
live and you learn, don't you? You live and you learn.
You
So
you do, and that also comes with experience. You become calmer. You've seen things before. You know that he's not going to checkmate you anytime soon with only the pawns in the attack, so that then you won't feel as worried about somebody charging at you. And you just yeah, it's just experience that will help. That helps as well with what you just said.
and I've got to say, Rick, as well, through your help, through your with the arrows and your like when you do the exercises with me and what's the best move through your teachings with me, like now, I'm thinking, if the queen d1 takes the rook on h5, and then I move my knight, it's a discovered, check,
Yeah,
and then my knight can go to a square where I might be able to catch something a bit, of high value, maybe the queen, if it's whatever. But
yeah,
my point is, a few months ago, I wouldn't have thought that, but because of, you teaching me and showing me these things, it's coming second nature. It's like, driving the car. So again, am I going to get the discovered check and be able to do something? I don't know. But the fact I'm starting to think these things is because of the options that you constantly give me every week.
yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, that rook was hanging. By the way, this knight is also hanging. It's also unprotected. Knight on g8. You took on f8, and he did not recapture. He now saw that his rook is hanging on h5, so he saved his rook.
Yeah.
And then you took the knight. So you just take all this stuff. Of course, it's
Yeah.
a very unusual position. You have a bishop and a knight on his back rank. He has a rook on h6 and everything else at home. It's a very unusual game, and then, so that's, as I just said, if it's unusual, you really have to take time to, scan the position for any checks, captures, attacks, because it's different than what you normally get. You cannot really go on your experience because this is such a weird position. It's like the pieces are scattered randomly over the board.
Yeah.
Okay, he played f5. Don't know what that's got to do with anything. He keeps making pawn moves. and his king is so weak there. Rook e1. I like that move very much. Always good to put your rook opposite his king.
Yeah.
And the rook is more active on e1, so I like that move. He played queen b6. Hooray, he's bringing another piece into the game. There's no threat yet, so you always have to look at that. The queen is such a strong piece. Is anything she's threatening? Well, not really. So you just take with check.
Nice.
Nice. And he could have, I guess, taken your knight, but he went to d8. Don't ask me why. So, I mean, I'm not going to even count the pieces. You're up, up 2 pieces and some pawns. And you're totally winning here material-wise, plus the fact that he's not developed and his king is in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
no.
I'm still a bit embarrassed that he could have took my knight. I didn't spot the rook, a free rook. It is a bit. Now I'm looking at it, and it's like I'm happy that I can see it now. If I didn't see it at all, I'd be in big trouble. But the fact that I can see it now, it's just it's a mental thing. It's an emotion thing, really. Like you tell me, all chess players have this, so a bit more comforting, really.
Yeah, but also don't forget that you're totally winning in this position. You've played 12 moves and you're completely winning. It's not so you missed a few things, but he missed a lot more, and you have similar ratings. So you're completely winning. You're 2 pieces up, and a couple of pawns. Plus, your position is on top of that. Your position is also better because his pieces are just scattered or at home. So even though you missed a few things, you have still totally outplayed this opponent. And also, we know you're going to lose this game, but we spend most of our time on things that did not go well. We don't spend enough time probably on your wins. So don't be disheartened, by this game because you were completely winning. But yeah, there's always something to learn. You played knight c6. He played c5. Yeah, well, that's maybe his only plan left is queen c6, and that's his only threat. Checkmate on g2.
Yeah.
And that is, again, something that you probably didn't realize, also because it's not a threat yet, but that's with a pawn on h3, queen g2, checkmate is really the only thing you have to worry about, that won't land on your doorstep. But you reacted fine, knight d5, centralizing the knight, attacking the queen c6. In a very unusual way, the knight is protected. It doesn't happen very often that a white bishop on g8 is protecting a white knight on d5. I guess if your bishop had been on g2, then you would have easily seen that the knight was protected already. So I'm not blaming you for not spotting that the knight was protected because you played rook e5, I guess, to protect your knight.
Yeah.
He played d6, kicking your rook away, and you went to e3. As said, that knight is protected. Now he's trying to trick you. He plays rook h7, and he says, please take the rook, and then he can take your knight, and that's exactly what happened, which, by the way, is still fine. Bishop takes a7, and queen takes d5. And that wins another exchange. You took a rook, he took a knight, but now the queen is where he wants it. I mean, all his stuff is at home. He only has a queen, and he has the h3 pawn, and he's threatening checkmate now. So now that you see the checkmate, Aran, what do you think you could play here to make sure you don't get checkmated in one move?
I'm thinking of queen from d1 to f3.
Queen f3 is a very good move. Offering it away the queens, which he really cannot let happen, because then he has really nothing left anymore. So he has to flee with the queen somewhere, and then now your king is perfectly safe.
And the funny thing about this position is that the rook on e3 is perfectly placed that if he wants the exchange, I can take his,
Exactly. The queen is protected. Yeah, that's, queen takes f3, rook takes f3. Just for argument's sake, let's say the rook was not there. Is there any other moves to prevent the mate in one? What else can white do to prevent this sudden finish?
Could I move the king to f1?
King to f1. Okay, let's have a look at that. I did not really spot that move.
So that if he does play, queen to g2,
yeah,
at least an escape maybe to e2.
Yeah, possible. Yes. I'm not a great fan of this because your king goes on the run. He can maybe take that pawn, and then suddenly he threatens to go with his pass pawn. So,
Bullshit.
I mean, queen f3 was your first option, and that is the best move. And I'm not crazy about king f1. Anything else that's better than king f1?
Could I move the knight back?
To where?
No, I was going to say that the knight to f4. I'm just speaking out loud, but then
Yes. No, that's not a safe square. He'll take it.
okay. How rook? No. How about
yeah?
The pawn to f3?
Yeah, I like pawn f3 also. I probably prefer queen f3, which was your first choice, but pawn f3 is also good. Okay, the king is a little bit more open, but just so much material up, and he has nothing in the attack, so f3 is fine. Do you see another queen move, apart from queen f3, another queen move that does the trick for white?
Queen to f1.
Exactly. Queen f1 is also a very solid move. What I like about it is you're also attacking the pawn, and if the pawn goes, the mate is gone.
I was just thinking that even if his queen moves, and I take the pawn, the guarded, that makes the checkmate happen because, like you say to me, the queen cannot do it on its own. f3, he's got nothing after that really.
No, exactly. Okay, he doesn't have to lose the pawn. He can play g4, I guess, too. But yeah, I still like queen f3 the best. You know, that is the most active move, offering it away the queens, which is really good for white. And yeah, but also f3 or queen f1 are also good enough. There's so much material up, and he has nothing developed that everything is good really. Even king f1 probably still wins, but then your king goes on the run.
I'll be honest with you, like, you know, looking at all this now, and you know, we're all here to learn, so I'll just say, but I'm quite embarrassed really of losing this game. You know, just naturally I am, so it's a shame really.
Yeah, and you know, yes, I understand your feeling. You outplayed him for the whole game, and you oversaw his one trick, and that cost you the game. I'll just show you. You played rook d3, and this was mate. Let's put it back quickly. Don't want to look at that. And chess is a frustrating game, and chess is a psychologically tough game, and we all have games, including grandmasters, that you think, oh, I'm embarrassed, or oh, I was winning the whole game, and in the last second I gave it away. Unfortunately, it's part of the game. Sometimes it goes the other way, that you're totally lost and your last trick works, and then you feel great. It's unfortunately just part of the game. It will happen again. It's yeah. The only thing I can say there is you have to pick yourself up and go again, and try to put this out of your mind, because you played a very good game, but your sense of danger at the end deserted you.
Yeah, when you put things in perspective here, I do feel better, of course, you know, because for the 90%, I didn't do too bad. But like you said, it comes with the territory. So accept my loss, learn, and move on.
Yeah, exactly. That's only it. And chess is a cruel game. You know, I guess every sport. I know you do lots of sports, but chess in particular is a cruel game because it's, you know, there's no physical. You cannot get rid of your nervous tension by physically running around or punching, or you have to sit down and click a mouse button or over the board make a little move. So it's tough. Losing in chess is tough on the psyche, but yeah, it's unfortunately just part of the game.
Yeah, because when you play on your own, and then obviously you as my coach, you help me. You give such a, obviously that's why you're there and I'm this side of the screen, because you know you have that experience, and that's why I'm glad that I invested time into working with you, because you know you make the path, you shorten my learning curve, which is what I'm here to do. So I'm glad we went on for this game.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you see it like that. And as I said, you know, I've overseen mating once. There's grandmasters who have overseen mating once and can show you examples one day. Only yesterday I was looking at Carlsen, who played the finals of the Speed Chess Championship against the American Grandmaster Nakamura, and Carlsen played bishop c7, and there was knight takes c7. That bishop was just not on a safe square. So, the world champion blundered a full piece just like that. And he was not in time trouble. So we all do it, and that should all make us feel a bit better. That even the greatest players of our game sometimes happens to them as well.
Yeah, but thank you, Rick, for showing me this.
Okay, you're welcome. Anything else before we close, Aran?
No, I'm happy with this. To be honest, even this is a lot to take in, so I have to digest this. But no, brilliant as always, Rick. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.
All right then, Rick. You take care.
Bye-bye.